Hey guys, welcome back. I have just returned from a long 10-day Thanksgiving break. It was very nice to get away from the computer for a while, just hang out with the family, get dinner, and just enjoy the company of my friends and family at home. But I am now back at school. It's kind of going to be a little bit of an update video here at the beginning just because there are a couple things I want to talk about. I am going to be very busy for the next 2 weeks. I'm finishing up the second to last semester of my college career, hopefully. So I will be doing finals week. I will try to upload content as much as possible, but I can't guarantee anything. As for the co-op campaign, there are problems right now. Patch 7 has introduced desync issues that really make it unplayable at the moment. Madness and I haven't done anything, but we basically don't want to touch the campaign until those desync issues and bugs have been ironed out, because basically we don't want to lose a campaign that we've started months ago because of stupid bugginess. So we're not going to touch it for a while. We do have some campaign parts saved up. I'm not sure how many, but that's the update on the campaign. We may or may not do a head-to-head campaign. We saw the comments you guys left, and we think we will probably do one at some point, but I can't guarantee when. Patch 7, like I said, has introduced some issues to the co-op campaign and head-to-head campaign, so don't know when that'll happen. As for Patch 7 itself, I've only played 2 or 3 games since Patch 7 was released. Like I said, I went home for 10 days and didn't have my computer with me. So, what do I think about it so far? Well, what I've seen is that Chariot and Elephant Spam is completely overpowered, which sucks. I haven't dealt with it at all yet. And honestly, the games I've played so far, I've really enjoyed. I like the buffs to skirmishers. I like a lot of the changes. I like the fact that when your heavy infantry gets knocked down, it takes a while for them to get back up. There are some nice things that they added in there. Talking about the Suebi and barbarian factions in general, the addition of formation attack being a toggleable ability for Romans and any Hellenic faction, any unit that traditionally had formation and attack automatically as part of the unit, that's no question a nerf to barbarian factions. Because it's basically just a bug in the game right now. It's that formation attack is stronger than, or not using formation attack is actually better than having formation attack enabled. So the ability for Roman units and Hellenic units to have that means that a lot of the barbarian sword units basically just aren't as effective as they normally would be. Suebi as a faction right now, I feel like, is not bad. There were some good changes. The Zerkers got a better fear aura, which means that they are going to rout units and scare units a lot easier than they were previously. And the longbowmen for the Suebi, where are they? They're right here. Actually did get 2 armor piercing damage, which before they did not have. Archers had 0 armor piercing before patch 7. So even though they weren't given the ability of heavy shot, they actually do still kill heavily armored units. Maybe not quite as fast as some other units in the game, certainly not as fast as the archers that were given heavy shot. And personally, I think the longbow hunters should have 150 or 175 range. I think they should be like a very unique unit that sets the Suebi apart from others. Regardless, they do have 2 armor piercing, so they can kill things, and archers in general were made better after the patch. Skirmishers were made better. Pretty much every skirmisher in the game was made better. But I don't see the Suebi getting picked up too often in competitive multiplayer, and I think it's because, like I said, factions like Rome, the Seleucids, Egypt are still very strong, and the fact that Royal Peltasts and other units that had really high attack before but had formation attack, which kind of limited them, now you can toggle that ability off and become much more potent in melee. So I'm going to stop boring you with my commentary. We're going to actually get into the replay. Well, I'm going to keep boring you with the commentary, but we're actually going to show the replay now. This was one of the second or third game that I played since patch 7 was released. And honestly, I have been enjoying patch 7. I think it has introduced a lot of good changes. But I think the Seleucid and Egyptian overpowered chariot spam has kind of become an issue. I will do my best to find counters to that, and I'm sure some people already have. But I do know that the Seleucids and Egyptians while they were strong pre-patch 7, I think they're about as strong as they've ever been because of how powerful Egyptian chariots or chariots and elephants can be in tandem. Like, they literally can take out entire armies by themselves if you aren't careful, and it's just kind of insane what they're able to do. Didn't like those changes at all, but it's kind of what we've gotten used to with Creative Assembly. I love the game developer, I really do, but it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back every time with these patches, and it's kind of unfortunate. Regardless, looking at army setups here, I actually really liked Pontus's build here. He's got a very nice build going on. He's got 6 mercenary Scythian horse archers. He's got 5 Pontic Royal Cavalry. He's got 5 Bronze Shield Pikemen and 2 Pontic Swordsmen. So he definitely is going to want to get aggressive with these cavalry archers at the beginning of this fight. And what I told my friend Macmillan to do here was just basically keep him off my back while we get closer. What we want to do is engage the main body of the Seleucid army and the Pontic army before these horse archers have time to do their skirmishing. I don't really want to try to skirmish them with my own archers. I probably could win that, but I don't think my opponent is going to be dumb enough to try to skirmish down my archers when he can just focus on other units that are kind of farther away from my skirmishers. We really need to get into melee with these guys as soon as possible, though. I do have 4 longbow hunters, like I said, but I want to kind of use them in tandem with my rush. I do have a rush build, despite the fact that I have those 4 skirmish units. So I just want to get into melee, take out these pike units as fast as possible so I can focus on the threat from the cavalry. The Hellenic Royal Cavalry for Epirus here, they're going to take a couple shots. They are heavily armored, so they're not going to take too many losses from these archers, who I do think have heavy shot activated at the moment. But he's going to make a micro mistake here very soon. What I'm going to do is keep my Berserkers, this tangent right here, this Woden Spears, Noble Rider, and 2 Berserker units. I want to keep them backing up these cavalry units, and because if I don't, 5 Pontic Royal Cavalry can definitely kill these Hellenic Royal Cavalry and Aspis Companion Cav, so I have to keep them protected. But he's going to shoot the gap right here, and I guess he was trying to kill these archers or try to cut them off, I'm not sure. But he is going to stop them and kind of forget about these Pontic Royal Cavalry, which are going to come in from behind. I am skirmishing a little bit with my longbow hunters, have gotten a couple kills so far. But yeah, right here is going to be the micro mistake, and it is going to be a relatively big deal. We can't afford to lose cavalry considering how many units they have, but I see what's happening, and I'm quickly going to shift my guys over to back him up. He is going to get rear charges off into the back of these into the back of these Aspis Companion Cavalry. For some reason, the charge was not very effective. I'm not sure if he didn't spread out properly or what, but like this Hellenic Royal Cavalry only lost 10 men off the charge, and if you're going to get a rear charge off into Cav, you should probably get more than that. I am quickly going to reinforce, though, tie down this Pontic Royal Cavalry with my Noble Rider, and then send in my Woden Spears to back up the cavalry and my Berserkers as well. These Berserkers, the fear aura they've gotten in patch 7 is very potent and really turns infantry engagements in your favor, and is really one of the only good things the Suebi have going for them at the moment. But they are a must-bring if you're using the Suebi, for sure. They have a lot of killing power, and that fear aura is just deadly. So I will be able to cut down these Thurio Spears very easily in melee. And I think I may have been a little slow to back up my ally here, but I am going to be able to tie down a bunch of his cavalry units, which is going to be a big deal for us. If I can take most of these cav off the field, that's going to be a win for us. Epirus is beating the Seleucids in his melee engagement, and my longbow hunters are actually skirmishing quite effectively. They've taken this Bronze Shield Pikeman down to 40 men. I've always thought that the barbarians are very strong against pike factions. I think they're like the Romans, that they have highly mobile, high killing power sword infantry. Berserkers and Swordmasters certainly fall into that category. And so what I've always done, and I haven't talked too much about it, but what I try to do when I'm playing a pike faction with a mobile infantry faction is I bait my opponent to face one way with maybe worse infantry, so I sent a Berserker in the front to kind of focus his pikes in one direction, and then I flank the others around. I always try to have 3 units gang up on one pike unit. If I can do that, it becomes very easy to beat a pike unit, and you kind of just break the pikes into chunks and take out one at a time. And once you get them kind of convoluted and facing multiple directions, it becomes much easier to take them out. They aren't as strong from the front as they were pre-patch 7, because they now have gaps in their formation, which I think was an interesting design decision by CA. I'm not sure I agree with it. But it means that they aren't as effective from the front, but they still kill things very easily from the front. So if you can avoid it, obviously flanking and rear charges are a much better way to deal with pike armies. And you can see how fast he routed there. Like, the Bronze Shield pikemen are a good pike unit, and they routed very fast when getting charged in the rear by berserkers. So he only has a couple of Pontic Royal Cavalry left, and then a bunch of skirmishers that are about to come over that hill over there. They get some nice volleys off my longbow hunters here, who will honestly have decent kill rates at this point. They have 30 kills, 35. They all have about 35, 30 kills, which is pretty cost effective considering they only cost 390 talents. Some very nice volleys there. And the fear stacking from elephants and berserkers is going to cause a chain rout. Now, I am sorry to say that replays are corrupted at the moment. I do not know why this continues to occur, but you're going to see it right here. The replays ended with 53 seconds left on the time, but the commands of my units are going to keep showing through until the replay officially ends. You can see the lines of my units here. I'm clicking attack orders. I'm going to activate cavalry tactics, I think, in a second here with the wounded as spears. And hopefully CA can look at this, and maybe this gives them some insight into what exactly the replay bug is, why it continues to occur 3 years after Shogun 2 was released, and all the problems we had with that. I do not know why this continues to rear its ugly head, but maybe the fact that it's continuing to show my commands is helpful to CA in some way, if they watch this video, which they won't, so I don't even know why I'm bothering talking about it. But yeah, you can see my units continue to do their commands until the replay ends 53 seconds later. So this replay wasn't too bugged, but some of the units were kind of ghost units that weren't actually moving at the end of the replay there. You saw my berserkers just hanging out. They were actually dead in the real replay. So yeah, it's frustrating. Wish it didn't keep occurring, but I'm going to continue trying to cast replays for patch 7. Hopefully they don't become too buggy, and we'll just have to hope that in patch 8 it gets fixed. Because as a YouTube commentator, it really is probably the biggest deal for me, is having functional replays that actually show what occurred in the real battles. And pre-patch 7, they were actually doing fine. I hadn't had any problems, which is why you had seen so many replay casts from me. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will talk to you later. More content coming soon.